Let's try this again. Good morning. Welcome to Winged Horse Designs. I'm Donna Goodwin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Brookings, South Dakota. And I have a really fun, very simple window card for you this morning that we're going to work on. And before I move too much further, last week we did this three-fold square card. And during the live, this went out to Brenda. And for those of you who came back in during replay and commented and shared, this card is going out to Marge from the East Coast. So Marge, if you'll get in touch with me via Facebook private messenger or email or something like that and give me your mailing address, I'll get that card out to you. So I'm going to switch cameras and we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, here's a better look at the card. And this is a simple window card. I could have shown you a trifold or something like that, but I chose to start out with something super simple, just cutting a window in the front of a card. I didn't even put any window sheet on it. It's literally just a window. And I also chose not to put a sentiment on the front. And then the sentiment on the inside says, anything is possible. So there we go. So hello, Terry, and hello, Harriet. I think I'm on Facebook. Yes, you're on Facebook, Harriet, and Terry is on both Facebook and YouTube. She's multitasking. Way to go, Terry. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up here. Now, everything that I chose to use, and I'll talk about in a second, was available early this morning. These are retiring products, except the stacked stone stamp set that I'm going to use for the background. So what I chose to use for this is I chose to use the hand-penned petals. They've been around for a little while, but they are going away. And I just really like this particular flower here. And I chose anything is possible, but you do have 4 sentiments here to use. And you can also stamp these flowers in and do 2-step stamping. However, we're going to work with blends this morning. And then for the background on the front, I chose stacked stone. This is the one that is already sold out. Good morning, Brenda. And then for my window, I chose stitched rectangles. They're retiring as well. And we're just going to use, you can see there's a lot in this set. We're going to use this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and set it out. You'll only need 2 pieces of cardstock, so this is a super easy card. I chose Soft Succulent. It's a 2021 to 2023 in color that will be going away at the end of the month. It measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So I'll bring in my bone folder and give that a good crease. And then you'll need a piece for your inside that measures 4 by 5 1/4. And it could be any color. I'm using basic white. Good morning, Linnell. And if you're joining us on replay, welcome. I'm using 3 different inks. I'm using Versamark for the background. I'm using Memento to stamp my flowers, Soft Succulent for my sentiment. And then we're using a variety of blends, and I'll talk about those when we get to those. And I'm going to add in a little bit of color with the 2021 to 2023 in color opal rounds. I just really like how the opal rounds turn out. So I will bring in a piece of scrap, and we're going to start with stamping the inside. So with Memento, I'm going to stamp that larger flower image. Good morning, Linnell. Let's see, have I missed anyone? I don't think so. I think I want to go this way. And I'm just going to stamp this down. Now let's see if I can do this without dropping it again. I'm just going to stamp this down in the left corner. I'm just going to hold it for a little bit, about the count of 5. So if you like these lives and these videos that I do, please do like, comment, and share. I like that kind of love. I'm going to bring in the soft succulent and stamp my sentiment. We're going to do anything is possible. A great sentiment for encouragement, or, graduations are coming up. Anything is possible for these young adults as they step forward into a new adventure in their life. You might not want to use flowers for them. You might want to use something else depending on the individual. So I'm going to set this aside, give the moment, and the memento is actually dry, but I'm just going to set it aside anyway and work on this piece while we're at it. So I leave my background stamps mounted directly in the case because it's just simply easier for me that way than to try and put them on a big block and hold a big block. You can see how much trouble I had just with that other block. So I'm going to take Versamark, and this is just a watermark ink. I'm going to ink up the stamp, and then I'm going to lay the front of my card right on top of it. I'll take a piece of scrap paper here and just give it a nice good rub. Good morning, Irene. And if you're joining us on replay, welcome. And now we just have a nice watermark color on there. And as it dries, it'll turn darker. So you do want something underneath your paper when you're working with the alcohol markers, because they do tend to bleed through. I personally like to start with my lightest color and work to my darkest color. I have Daffodil Delight here. And I also prefer the bullet side over the paintbrush side. The paintbrush side's pretty fragile. So I'm just going to color the insides of my flowers in Daffodil Delight. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. I like to lay down a light color and then come in and add dark where the artist has given us some direction here. And you can start asking your questions anytime you like, and then I'll get to them at the end during questions and answers. And then I'm coming back in with the light and kind of blending those two colors together. My next darkest color would probably be my Mint Macaron for my leaves. So the more you add, the better they blend. The more saturation, the better they blend. With that said, the more saturation you add, the more the alcohol will bleed outside of the lines. So it's just you just have to work with them and kind of play with them and get the feel for how they work. But you just get a much better blending, realistic look with them than you do with, say, the water-based markers. So I'm going to stop there and move on. And I chose Light Flirty Flamingo to just do a hint of pink around the edge of these flowers on this one. And I'm just going to go around the edges. I'm not even trying to be precise. And then for the bigger flowers, I opted for a nice bright pink, polished pink. This is an in color, so it's going away at the end of the month as well. Mint Macaron is a retiring color. So again, I like to start with my light. As you can see, this is a very bright color. If you're new to me, we're glad to have you here. Good morning, Mary. And you can find me on my website at Winged Horse Designs, on Facebook at Winged Horse Designs, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So wherever you might find me, I don't do Twitter and I don't do TikTok, but in all the other places, you can always find me all under the same name, Winged Horse Designs. And if you see something you would like and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And there is my April host code. And so that's how I color mine. I start with my light color, add in my darker color, using the lines that the artist has given me, and then I come back with the light color and go over the whole thing to blend it back in. To save time, I already have one done. And then what I did with this light balmy blue is I just came in sparingly around the edges to give it a little bit of a shadow, so that instead of it just flowers on stark white, there was a little bit of a shadow. So the next thing we want to do is we want to line up our window. And I thought it'd be nice to, since we're going to have this image down here in the bottom right corner, we want to put our window in the bottom right corner. So I'm putting it, roughly 1/4 of an inch in from the right and up from the bottom. Actually, I think I want to use, I'm going to put these pieces of washi tape on the inside so that if it does tear the cardstock, it's tearing the piece that we're not going to leave on the card. Now I'm going to have to put it through the big machine because it's so wide. And normally you would want to put your die through so that it comes in at an angle. That way it rolls through easier and it doesn't catch as much on the roller. But I'm going to have to put this one through this way. So you're going to hear this big clunk and a second big clunk as it hits the edge here. It's like hitting a speed bump, or maybe at this time of year we should say it's like hitting a pothole. So I'm going to bring in the big machine. And the reason I can't spin it this way is you can see the cardstock's over the edges. So we're just going to have to deal with that clunk that we don't normally want to do. It's rough on the dies and it's rough on the roller. So it didn't clunk as loud as I thought it would. That one did. And now we have our window. So we just have to finish by, and we can save this piece here because these stitched rectangles put stitches on the inside and stitches on the outside. So that's a good piece to use on some other card. So this is super simple. I do have a sneak peek of the card I'm going to upload on Friday. So please stick through to the end for that. And I'm almost done with this card, so start queuing up your questions. And then for the front, I just opted to put in some of those jewels. Lighting's a little strange today. Or maybe it's just my bad eyes. And so I just kind of slip this over the edge here. And I try to decide what color do I think I want. And the soft succulent's a little bit, I better get in closer to the camera here. The soft succulent's a little bit too much tone on tone for me. I do like the evening evergreen, but I think I really like these little polished pink ones. They kind of looks very subtle on the green, but I think I'd rather pick up the pink and go with the polished pink. So I'll just take your pick tool on the putty side, and we'll put a few of these polished pinks on here. Now they can go anywhere they want. I don't necessarily have to do them like I did here. The reason this one's up here is because I tore the paper. So, you know, what do we say in crafting? There's no such thing as a mistake, just an opportunity for embellishment. Sometimes, on my original card, sometimes your embellishment's determined by things that happen. So. All right, it is time for questions and answers. So I am going to look through the comments and see what I can find. Please know that any kind of comment, even if it's just, you only need to comment once, but any comment will put you in the live drawing. That's how that system picks that up. So Terry is here today. She says, good morning. Harriet thought she was on Facebook. Yes, she is. Letting me know that she's on Facebook. Linnell's here. Brenda's here. Irene is here. Mary is here. Paula says it's cool. She loves the stitch shapes. I love the stitch shapes as well. And the actual stitch shapes that had the circles and the ovals and the rectangles, or squares, I think it was squares, those retired quite a while ago. I still have them. I still use them. And these stitched rectangles are retiring. The layering circles are retiring. But we do have stylish shapes, which have circles and rectangles and I think ovals as well in them, that are taking the place of the other three that are going away. Harriet loves the stitching too. And Linnell, ever so simple, you love it. You can use any shape you want. You don't have to use a die. You can use punches as well. Punches come in really handy. The difference between dies and punches is if I wanted to, I could have put this dead center in the card, and punches don't always reach all the way in. And so I will queue up the giveaway, because I don't see any other comments coming in. So we'll go ahead and see which one of the 8 of you and this card is going to Linnell. So whoops, yeah, here I am down there in the corner. So congratulations, Linnell. This card is going, whoop, where are we going? You'll get this card. I happen to know I'm going to see you here in just a couple days, so I might hand deliver this to you. Hand pink waving. Okay. Welcome. You can always go back and catch the replay if you're just now joining in. So thank you, everyone. Oh, sneak peek, sneak peek. So let me switch cameras to show you this sneak peek. All right. So Friday, I am going to upload a video with the bay window look. And so when it comes in the envelope, it lays flat like this. It doesn't really look like a whole lot. But it's scored in a couple different places, and it has a little stop here. So I just have a little flower in here that I put, and then you hook this underneath your little stop, and it creates a bay window effect. Now you can do a couple different ways. You could, let's assume that this is a piece, you could not cut out a window, and you can just lay something and glue something to the front as well. So I just felt that a window would be cool. So Friday, I will upload a video on this card and how to make this card. So have a wonderful week, everyone. The sun is shining here in South Dakota, so that's going to make all of us have a nice, happy moods. And I will see you next Friday. I'll upload a video, and I will see you next Monday, 10 a.m. East Central Time, right here at Winged Horse Designs. Happy trails, everyone. Bye-bye.